This is going to be part one of a micrography assignment where you're going to do a coffee cup in Illustrator, and I'll explain. So you're going to need to go to the module, it's typography, Micrography Practice Part 1. It will be published by the time I'm done with this video. And you will need to go to this link, click on this link. It'll take you to my Google Drive where you're going to find this image of a coffee cup. You're going to need to download that. And then you're going to need to open Illustrator. And then we're going to need to go to File, then Open. Go to your downloads and go to the last download, which should be the coffee cup, and open that. All right, from here, you can see we have this large white area. Make sure you're on Properties, and then we can go over to the Selection tool, and then we can go back to Edit Artboard, and we can make our artboard fit the image. Something we've done quite a bit by now. We should know how to do. Whoops. Oh gosh. So bring this up to this corner. Now we don't have all this white space around our image because the image and the artboard are now the same size. Now if I click back on the Selection tool, it'll get us out of the artboard. Okay. All right. So now we have that set up. I want to make sure and have my layers pulled up. And I want to lock the bottom layer. We never work on our first bottom layer with our image. We want to separate it. So we're going to create a new layer. All we're going to do with this right now is replace the cup shapes with our own shapes. So that requires using the pen tool as we've done in the past. Also the ellipse tool, which I'll show you. Let's create a layer for this background. All right. So let's make this our background layer. And let's create a color for that. So first I want to do no outline, no stroke, and no fill on this for right now. And basically creating a new background, new layer for this. Just going to replace the background. I will use the color that is back there, so I'm going to go to the eyedropper tool and then come over and select something from this background. That works. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to lock it, and then we're going to cut the eye off. Now it looks like this coffee cup and that background is pretty similar. So maybe let's do this. Let's go back to this color and maybe make it a little bit more of a neutral, lighter version. And then we'll color back the background with that. Tell you what, we may have to redraw the shape. Shoot, how do I fill that in now that I've got the color? Or did it? It didn't just change, did it? All right, I just created another new shape on top of that one. We'll do that. All right. So now we can cut our background off. And now I feel like as if it won't blend in with our coffee cup. All right, so now we're going to create another new layer for our coffee cup, our saucer. Actually, let's just do the coffee cup. That's fine. We don't need to do the saucer and all that, okay? But I would like to do the handle and the cup, and the coffee and inside and this part of the coffee cup. So here we go. Let's go to the pen tool. We want no fill on this. All right. So remember, the fewer the anchor points, the better. I can always go back and adjust these. I'm definitely going to need to. I can probably get by with just one more over here. Okay. So now I might want to go back and adjust those. Actually, let's go ahead and make this bottom layer a template. So if you double click on the layer and bring this window up, the layer options, I'm going to name it template. I'm going to create it as a template, and it will lock it and make it 50%. So I'm going to click OK. All right. I kind of made it actually too light. So let's double click on that. Let's make this like 80%. Okay, just wanted to dim it down a little bit just so we can see our contour right there, the line or the path. So if I double click on this layer now, bring that up, I can change this from green to something darker. I'll say dark green. And now we can see that better. And we could also rename that cup layer. Okay, so now we know what layer we're on and what we're doing. So we can go to the direct selection tool, which is the letter A on your keyboard. So I'm going to click the letter A. Now I can go in here and make my little adjustments. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can see this better. Maybe nudge this over a little bit. Maybe pull this out a little bit. Oops. Ideally, this is a symmetrical object, so it makes sense that our handles are symmetrical from one side to the other. Okay, so where's the handle for over here? So it looks like I lost a handle right here. So here's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to do the Shift C, which will give me this. And I'll need to go back and re-put in a handle for that. That was Shift C on the keyboard. If you come over here to this, it says Shift C. That's how I got to this. Okay. Remember, if I click the P key, it'll take me to the pen tool, right? If I come over here, there are multiple tools underneath this. There's the anchor point tool, which is Shift C, which is what I did. That will break handles. It will delete handles. And then it will create handles. Okay. Remember that with this tool. Okay. So I'm going to click the A key and get back to this direct selection tool. Fine tune my handles. Fine tune my contour. And I feel pretty good about that. Nudge this out a little bit. Okay. Pretty good shape of the coffee cup. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the color that's inside the cup, although I did dim it down. That actually turned out pretty dark. I guess it knows what the color is underneath even though it's dimmed out. Okay, we'll go with that. So I'm going to lock that layer. I'm going to cut the eye off because we still got more to create. We're going to create this upper portion, and then we're going to create this the coffee that's inside. Okay. All right. So and then we need to create the handle. So we're going to create a new layer, go on top of that, and now we're going to go to the ellipse tool. And let's put, let's create, I think, this color. We'll use that color for our shape. Although we'll probably end up selecting none before it's all said and done. So we're going to start from the very edge here and then stretch this out from one side to the next. And we'll go to the selection tool, and then we can pull this up, pull this down, and we should be able to pretty much create this shape. Might have to pull this in a little bit. Now we need to kind of also make it match what is the cup shape underneath. So let's click that back on. You can kind of see how that's peeking out right there. I'm using my arrow keys to kind of nudge it a little bit. This is out a little too far. Pull that in. Okay. Feels pretty good right there. All right. So if you find other ways to create this object, maybe I didn't need to put this up in this portion because now this is covering up over it. Just as long as you get the coffee cup. All right. However way you make those shapes. So now I'm just sort of layering. Now I'm going to create the coffee that's inside there. So I'm going to go back to the pen tool. If I click the P key, it'll get me to the pen tool. And I want to create this shape. And it's sort of an ellipse. So I'm going to click here. Oh, let's go over here to none real quick for the fill. We'll do that afterwards. And then we'll click here and create that. And then I'm just going to come over here and link that. I know it looks messed up. It looks very messed up. This is again where I do this Shift C, and I'm going to recreate new handles, and I'm going to break this one. Now I have to be careful. I can't click back on any of these because it'll delete it. I really can't see this path because it's so light. So maybe I should go back and now change. Actually could rename these again. Let's see. Coffee cup opening. Or I could just title it opening. And this is the coffee. Okay. So, all right. So I broke my handles. I wanted to change the color from magenta to something darker. Let's just go with black. Now we can really see it. And I'm going to go to my direct selection tool. And now I'm going to fine tune my handles to make this coffee shape. All right. Now, I want that color that's inside with the coffee. So I'm going to go to my eyedropper tool and select the color that I want. And there's a coffee color. So I'm going to lock that. Now let's cut on our other layers and see what we got. Spiffy. Looks pretty good. All right. Let's put a handle on it. I'm actually going to put the handle between the background of the cup so the handle kind of looks like it's being overlapped, so I don't have to worry about this contour. So this contour will create the edge on the handle. You'll see what I mean. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click on the background, create a new layer, put a layer in between the background and the cup. I'm going to rename this handle. All right. Now let's cut off our layers so we can see our handle. Don't have to cut off the other layers, I guess. So I'm going to go back to the pen tool, which is underneath this one, You can click on this to get to it that way, or you can click the P key again. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to start inside of here because this is going to be overlapped. This will be behind this shape, so it'll be fine. Actually, we just got that off. All right, so I'm going to start right here. I'm going to come over here and click and start to create that shape. Oh, got to put on none. It's going to turn all brown on us. I think I can, I'll go ahead and do this. Probably do this with fewer anchors, but that looks good to me. Okay, so we'll just come back this way. This is going to be a tricky one here. Let's see if we can do this. And then we got to close the path. See that little circle that popped up when I overlap the anchor point? That means it's going to enclose on us. Okay, so now it is an enclosed shape. I'm going to zoom in on this. Probably should have been zoomed in the whole time. Let's change the color on that. Oh, wrong one. Change the color on the handle layer to something again darker. I don't know why it keeps going light on us. We'll do orange. Still doesn't stand out too much. We'll just go ahead and do dark blue. There we go. That should show up. There we go. We see that really good. All right, so I'm going to click the A key again to get back to my direct selection tool. I'm going to fine tune my anchors, where they're located at. Try to fine tune the handles. This one's way off. Don't even have a handle right there. So Shift C to go to my anchor point tool and then create a handle for that. Now back to the A key for the direct selection tool. Looks pretty good out here. Take this in just a little bit. Pull this out just a bit. To kind of push this out. And the rest of that looks pretty good. So let's create a color for it. So we're going to go to the eyedropper tool and select somewhere in here for the color for it. Let's see how that matches up to the cup itself. I want it to be a little bit different color, and it looks okay. So now let's lock the layer for the handle, and I got rid of the path. And let's zoom out. Let's cut on the coffee cup opening, coffee itself, cut on the background, and voila. We have a coffee cup with coffee, with a handle, with a background that replaces the photograph, which was our intention all the time. Okay, so we're going to take this and we're going to turn this in. Now remember, to turn in an image, you need to go to File, or actually let's just save it to begin with. Go to Save As, Save on Computer, not save to Creative Cloud, and Micrography Coffee Cup is the title. All right. Then remember, the last place we went to was the download. So that is where it's going to try to save to, or wherever your last place you save to, it will try to save to. So you need to go to the desktop, find your folder. Mine is actually inside that. So within that, find your folder, and then you will save it. I gotta get this out of the way. You're going to click OK. Now that saves it as an Illustrator file. You have all of your layers. Let me go back to that again, just to show you, just to confirm. You need to always make sure Save As type says .ai when you're saving as your Illustrator file. And your Illustrator files look like these. They have the AI on it. And this has the .ai for extension. Okay, I'm just going to cancel that because I've already saved it. Now I'm going to export it so I can turn it in to Canvas. Export as. And again, I need to make sure I'm in the right location. Digital Design, Kenneth Moley. That's the folder that we will last save to. So we shouldn't have to go searching for our folder because we were just there. So now the file name is the same. We don't need to change the file name. Now save as type. Make sure it says JPEG. I have been seeing these trying to default to something else like these. Just make sure you select JPEG and then export and then click OK. Okay. Now, oh my, that's popping up. Now we can turn that into Canvas. Okay. So if I go to my desktop, where's my folder? Here. Kenneth Moley. There's my Micrography coffee cup that I can turn in file type. Item type says JPEG. Right here's my coffee cup as an Adobe Illustrator file. Okay, so that way I can always open this back up, be back to my layers, such as over here, in case I need to rework it. And this is part 1. Okay, so there is a part 2. We will need to be working back on this with these layers. Okay, so do make sure you save it as an Illustrator file. And you can see it right here. It says .ai Micrography coffee cup. Okay, and that is it for part 1.